What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Mark Scott interview. Um, I don't know what happened. I had a glitch for a second, so hopefully nothing happens during this interview. The devil trying to work already. That's what happens, I guess, when you got a man like Mark Scott in the building, I guess. But without further ado, let me introduce this man on up here and get it started so we can get into some things and see what's really going on.
What up,
I'm
though?
so sorry.
The devil is busy on me now. You, wow, that's that. Okay, I'm with it.
Okay. How you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing. I'm blessed and highly favored.
How are you doing for a Sunday after your debut
I
of
feel
the
good.
show last night?
I feel good. I didn't. I mean, I was me. I didn't. I didn't. They didn't. I didn't. They didn't make me look like I was somebody I wasn't, and then they didn't cut it up to where, you know, I have to explain what was left out. So they did a decent job. That's what I could say.
That's what you can say. Okay. That's decent. Okay, so Mark, you have been basically a part of this show really before you even debuted many seasons ago, it seems. So before we get into how you got here today, I just want to have find out a little bit of background about Mark Scott III. So, Mark, where were you born and raised?
I'm from Pontiac, Michigan. I was born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan. It's eight of us, so there was a little moving around. So I stayed in. I went to Bedford, Virginia. I went to Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois. So Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, because y'all be like, he says Illinois. So we grew up in Chicago. We grew up in Bedford, and we grew up in New Orleans. So it's a little bit of moving around. Um, just, but mainly Pontiac, Michigan. The Yak hometown is the Yak, home of Rose Spit, um, David Bowens, David Holston, different people who are on platforms. Uh, Mr. Hamler, who plays for the Broncos. So different play. I mean, the Yak makes people. So we were forged. We were forged. So we're right outside of Detroit, 30 minutes north of Detroit. And so you got to figure we are forged out of the fire, we a city, we a young Detroit, mini Detroit, and we grew up in the crack era. So you didn't just make it, you had to make it. Your family was in the plant and your friends was on the block. So
Absolutely.
we had to make it.
So, what was your household like growing up?
Comedy, discipline, church, education. Um, I mean, we were a typical Midwest family, you know. We're a typical Midwest. I mean, if you got a friend from Pontiac, Michigan, they parents work for GM. And if their parents didn't work for GM, they worked for Ford. And if they wasn't for Ford or GM, they worked at some type of church. Per capita, Pontiac has more churches than Detroit per capita. Like they got two churches right across the street from each other. It's like y'all need that much God? God damn. Like so it was
So, yeah, we know you're not too much of a favor of
I
him when we
am.
seen you throw a Bible on one of my
I
lives
throw
one night.
fake I I throw fake religion. I hate fake religious people. That's one of the reasons why the two characters on this show bother me, because you are claiming that you are affiliated with the Most High. You are claiming that you're affiliated and you pay homage to the Most High. And then you do this. That's
What exactly is it that they've done?
they. So in recent days, this lady has a picture of her in a thong taking a bathroom shot. Talking about some, I got my skincare, you need to get yours. Really?
Okay, Mark, why does that bother you so much as an individual?
Because you claim to like, okay, if it's like going to school with okay, this is what it reminds me of. There are people who used to stop at the mobile gas station and buy Rolexes. And so as a person who knows fine jewelry, don't pass that off as fine jewelry. Don't pass that off as the authentic, you know, as the merchandise. Say you got that secondhand, or say it was a gift, but don't say it's a Rolex. That what you don't do is you don't tell a Rolex wearer that you have a Rolex on, because then they start looking at your stuff and they start asking you. It's like people who say, "Hey, you got some red bottoms?" Like, yeah. What serial number was yours? Mine was if you don't have red bottoms, then you don't know what the serial number is. And it just starts to breed disingenuousness. And it's easier. It is J. Cole who said, rap about being broke, because that's something I can respect. But don't rap like you got all these ice. It's the difference. It's like we don't love authenticity. We don't love, we don't love truth. We don't love that part of people anymore.
Okay, let's back it up a little bit. Okay, you met, who did you meet first, Melody or Miss Van?
Van.
Okay, how did you meet Miss Van?
Me and Van worked for Marceau.
Okay.
And so because we worked for Marceau, we spent a lot of phone time together. And so that was the way in. Me and her had this connection via a phone connection. Actually, Marceau, he was like, "Man, I got this great opportunity for you. Come work for me, and we could do X, Y, Z." And I was like, "Oh, sure." And then so we did it. And then what happened was, one of the first thing he did to me, I had to go do this task, and one of the tasks involved going under the house. And I was like, "Well, I'm not doing that." And she was like, "Well, you won't get paid." I was like, "Well, then I don't need the money." and so, and so Marshall was like, "Nah, he let it ride. He ain't. I mean, he was like, can you kind of look like you're doing the task?" I was like, I cannot kind of look like I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. And so And so there it was like, all right, man, I don't blame you. And we just, I mean, and so after that, she was like, it was us. I mean, we just would talk, and she was like, um, the task was to go under the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going under houses. I can go in your attic. I can go in your garage. I can go in your basement. I'm not going under a crawl space under a house. I'm afraid of snakes. And so what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to crawl to where I know snakes could be. No, no. And so we would be talking, and then she was like, "You can do it this time, Mark." And so I would, crawl up her Linda and like, "Yeah, I did it." And then so it was that kind of thing. It was like, it's like having
So
a
you
real
would say
friend.
that she did encourage, she was encouraging
Oh
to
yeah,
you.
she's a real she was. The thing is it's like any other relationship, friendship. You learn each other, and you build each other, and you encourage each other, and you get there. It's the ending that makes it tragic. It's how you end it that makes people want to beat your ass.
So how did we get here? Was the first time you had any problem was after reunion when she
Nope.
denied?
See,
with
So
you.
you got to go back. You got to go back. It's not the reunion. The reunion is a double down. Season
So
2.
when did you first have a problem? First of all,
Season.
let's back all together. When did you stop dating Miss Van?
So I stopped dating Van in 2018. It was like I was making a choice and I chose another woman. And Van was like, we don't really have to stop. And I was like, you're right. We could, kind of be like sister wives. and she knew it. I mean, she knew it. And so the thing was, I was
Stop
open.
what? Just y'all seeing each other or just y'all being intimate with each other? Like,
A lot of
what
different.
was the depth of the relationship? Because from the text messages or what so that you have shown, it seemed like there was a lot between y'all mutually at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah. So the thought was the end of it was when I moved into with a girl. I moved in with a girl that I was dating, and I think
Did
that
she
was
know
what.
about this other girl?
Yeah, she wanted to buy me a house or get us a house together to avoid me going to be with another girl. She was like,
Miss
"You
Vandy.
can." Yeah, she was like, "You can do whatever." She just didn't want me in a situation that most men find themselves in when they get in with a girl. You get in with a girl, it don't go good, and the first thing she says, "Oh, you gotta leave my house." So I think in the spirit of wanting good for me, she wanted good for me, but she wanted it good for her.
I mean, of course, why wouldn't she?
Because I don't want you to if you want something from me as my friend, want it genuinely. But if you want it so secretly you can get something out of it, then you're selfish. Then your whole intention is
I mean, if y'all have had this much time together and all of this thing, why? And she says, okay, you don't have to like do that. We can still do us, whatever. Of course. Why can't she? Why is that so bad?
because if you're genuine, then there's no room for selfishness. If I okay, if I here's one of the things that is the way she puts it on TV is I was taking care of this person who couldn't take care of themselves. That's not true. You were exchanging pleasantries during a relationship. When you exchange pleasantries during a relationship, when it's over, you don't turn around and say, "Well, I can remember when I took her on a date, and I remember when I did this, and I remember I did that, and I helped her fix it." That means you're being a scorekeeper. If you're going to be a scorekeeper, then are you really? Then all the stuff you said and all the things that all the reasons for me to get out are now justified because you've always been keeping score.
Okay. So it's the keeping score that got you like, okay, when did it just become so bad to where she feels that she just had to deny you altogether? Do you feel that she
Now
was
here's the
jealous
thing.
that you picked the other woman? Did she know the other woman
I think
personally
I think
herself?
it was I think it's twofold. I think it's twofold. I think one, I think uh when we broke up, I think she got this little this little vindictive part in her. It like I'll show him. Like when she gets on TV, she'll show me. There was no reason to bring this situation from social media to TV just to not tell the truth. If you're not going to tell the truth, why not just leave it?
Okay, Mark, let me stop you for a second, because this is what I've always said from the beginning. And this is where I feel like I play devil's advocate with Miss Van, because you both said you were not going to, y'all had the agreement that it was not going to be brought up on the show, right?
On the show, correct.
Right. Okay. So she did not initially bring you up. She was asked.
That's not true.
Okay, but even if you do say it's not true, when she answered the question, could you not see it as she's just trying to divert it all together, saying no, me and him were never together? That is a way of denying it, right?
Except for the one thing that I am saying that is true, is that she brought it to TV. Everybody's kind of pinpointed to the reunion, right? And it's not reunion based. It is not reunion based.
So what is that one? Because I do remember you showing it, but I want everyone else to see what is the exact moment before the reunion, because that is the thing. Everyone does want to say that the biggest thing happened at the reunion. So what is it that you see that no one else is realizing?
So one, there's two things. One, I believe the connection is the same thing that Melody was gonna do to Martell. I'm going to get you on TV and I'm going to embarrass you. Because if you look at it, Melody did to Martell exactly what Van is trying to do. Get me on TV and then embarrass me. And so I think that was a part of the plan all along. The other thing is that, here we go. This is what nobody watches.
Oh, yeah, how's it having a new baby in the house again?
Like we need some help. Okay, you may have to delete that, because I might get copywritten if you put that on here.
Okay, well, we'll just listen to the words. We'll just listen to the words.
They can stand strong against Martell Holt's mouth. Yeah, he can be very arrogant. I agree with you on that.
Arrogant? What that's why me being a nanny would not work.
Arrogant? Yes, you are very arrogant.
Oh, that's not nice, but okay.
I can say that about you, but no one else can say it.
Oh, everybody's saying.
Can you hear that good?
Leave his arrogant ass. He's conceited. Stop. Leave him alone.
Yeah, but they don't really know you.
Just stay off social media in terms of reading all the comments and all of that.
You
can't win against them.
But it's not a matter of winning against anyone. When people say stuff that I know is a bunch of BS. Right. And it attacks you guys' character, I'm going to say something. I mean, like that junk that Marceau did. Mm-hmm. You got upset about that because it attacked my character.
Yep.
Talking about he had a sex tape of me. Coming up on Love and Marriage Huntsville.
I talked to Kiowa and...
So this is the first time she mentions it. This is season 2, episode 4. So when you go back and you watch this season, hold on, because we gotta mute the commercials because it's gonna be a bunch of commercials. But what happens is,
no one is really just going to admit that they have a tape out right then.
But But Marshall never said sex tape. What I'm saying is,
when you say tape, period, what other tape could there be?
So here's the misunderstanding that nobody's looking at. Melody said, she says, I have no wolf receipts, only like the real receipts over here. And Marshall comments, he said, if I had tapes, whatever, on somebody, I would just drop them. I wouldn't even talk. Like he's saying, if you got them, just drop them. Don't tell people. It's like either you're going to talk about it or you're going to be about it. And Marshall was saying, be about it. And so when you take it from when you try to take it from a fight standpoint, you're trying to say, oh, he got something on somebody. No, he's saying, don't talk about the stuff you got. Just put it out there. And at the same time, while this is happening, just imagine me and you and Marcel, our Mel and Marcel, having this argument on Twitter. Mark is over here on our IG, not knowing what Marcel was doing.
Okay.
So by the time you get done, if you are going to use it or you spin it, you take those two and you try to make it seem like Marcel was talking about something I was saying, and I was trying to allude to something Marcel was saying. They didn't even happen in the same time.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so
hold on, because I want you, because the thing is this, I want people to hear it. That the first time is not the reunion, it's not a retort or a question. This is her. So far she said, Marcel, that stuff Marcel says, keep it to Marcel. Yeah, I don't even believe that stuff that Marcel says. Does Van stop there?
But did she say your name?
That's what I want people to hear. It's speeding back up because I had it on mute. I want this to come back. And I can't show it to you because I don't want your show getting clipped. But then she turns around and she says, yeah, I dated Mark. Oh no, she says, I'm grown.
I remember that part.
Right. So she said, she's like, she's talking about that junk with Mark. Nobody else says my name. Nobody on the whole show says my name except for her. So that's the problem. You're saying you didn't, and you did. Here it goes.
So where are the tapes?
Where are what tapes?
Do the tapes exist? Do they really exist or not?
No, hold on. Here.
Been to him, I helped build Skoda
with the contractors. So yes, the fact that she and Marcel's brother were talking on a regularly, there was a rapport there. They built a friendship.
As far as Marcel, I totally lost all respect for him for that. You know, as good as I had been.
Is the one who had all the daily dealings with the country. My mother did, and
if they did, so what? They grown.
Well, they are grown. Now that would be an issue.
That one. Big hips.
You know he lost a whole bunch of weight. Now stop. It was like, hold up. Talking about you and Mark dated and...
If they did, so what? They grown.
Well, they are grown, I know.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't say Mark and I dated.
Yeah.
I was a very good friend for him. Helped him out during a difficult time.
My mother and Marcel's...
So the problem is this. These two are making a storyline up right here. And because the way that Melody goes in a confessional and talks, it seems like this ain't nothing. But you don't hear Van go in the confessional and talk about it. This is one of the things.
What does that matter if Van does it or Melody does it? Because
Melody is doing it because Melody believes her mother.
Well, that's by default. She should. That's her mother.
Except for her mother. The problem is this. Her not telling her daughter creates the backlash that ends up ultimately being on Melody for not. So if you tell me a lie and I go out and defend the lie, and then I find out I'll give you a perfect example. Rosewood.
Okay.
The movie Rosewood.
Yes.
In the movie Rosewood, she lies. All of this fallout comes out because of a lie. all of these collateral damage, all of this, hoopla over a lie. The thing is this, I believe that Melody was going to embarrass Martell and Van was going to embarrass me. The problem is she didn't know who me was. She thought me might be poor. She thought, the thing is this, a lot of times people fight you where they left you. And so she thought, and that's what I'm saying, the reason why she's fighting this fight, she's saying these things now is because what she's doing now is the relationship didn't grow now. And so now her today self, her healed self, is denying that self.
So you feel that that's why she is doing this?
There's no reason. There's a couple things that don't sit well in her story or in the thought. If Mark is moving too fast and Mark is all of these things, why mention Mark on the show?
True.
Why elevate she's wrote 3 books now. She has a lot of flourishing. You're telling me you ain't dated nobody since Mark? Nobody? Noteworthy.
And what's wrong with that?
I'm saying nobody is noteworthy enough to make the show other than a 7-year-old relationship. Come on. That's giving. That's giving BDE.
What is BDE?
Big.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I'm sure you had an ex after Mark who was worth mentioning. Mark was slum. He was dude. You're telling me that in the time the show aired, from the time we stopped talking to the time the show aired, you hadn't done nothing significant in your life as much as talk about Mark. I'm saying not even a new boo. A new boo could have been like, you know what?
Was there anything that happened? Were these okay? Because it seemed like it's back to my original question. Do the tapes really exist or not?
So what was the other question?
Do the tapes really exist or not?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. I'm saying like this.
And out of everything you will say, you will talk about, you will do everything, why is that the one thing you will not confirm nor deny?
Because I think, so here's the thing. I've played my hand. And I have the winning cards. The flop is going on. To me, I feel like the only thing left for me to do this is like, if there's a whole nother set of allegations or something else, if there's a whole nother fight. The thing is, one of the tricks to winning the war is the enemy thinks you're out of ammunition, so they come out of hiding.
So you want us to think you don't have the tapes?
I don't want you to think anything.
As in you do, just want us to think that you don't?
I want other parties to say, you know what? This right here hurt bad enough for me not to find out what might be under there. Jay-Z said this. He said, you got to keep something to keep the hecklers up off you. I just shot out something to get them up off me. Now, it should be enough to say, all right, the way I played this last hand ought to be enough to say, you know what? Not only does he have the truth, he has some very compelling truth. Let's leave it alone. Girl, you lied. You got caught. Let's move on. But if now you want to come back another season and you want to say something another season, or you want to do another interview, then we got to prove all that. Like, it's almost like saying, do you really want me to destroy? I got to destroy you to show you how real I am. Or you could take this and say, you know what? This is real enough. You ever have your mama give you that look, and you know if you keep going, you were gonna get a spanking? Well, I just gave that look. Don't get the spanking. Don't. That's the goal, is to not get spanked.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm not telling people what I have or don't have. You'll never know until, and the only way to know that fat meat is greasy is to get you some fat meat.
Okay, Mark. So now you made your debut last night, and we finally see a dynamic between you and your brothers for the first time ever, which is what a lot of people wondered. We've always wondered what type of conversations y'all have together when y'all not filming, what have you, how it is. So you see your brothers, you're on screen, you're doing this, and we see that they're not really getting through to you, which is
I'm the
what they
oldest.
already knew.
They
okay, already
so
knew.
I'm the oldest, Scott.
Of course.
So go tell your big brother.
Can we step back for a second? What was your relationship like with your brothers when you were younger, growing up?
Oh, we just brothers, rowdy. We get along. We don't get along. Fierce competition. We are fierce competitors among each other. I mean, we are highly intelligent and quick-witted. So, it's one of those things.
Dark humor.
Super dark humor. Super dark humor. One of the things I tell people is that, like, in our household, this isn't factual, but it seemed this way. To sit down and eat, you had to tell a joke, and everybody had to laugh. And so, if you couldn't muster up a good joke, you were hungry. It was like the Hunger Games. We are the hungry. That's what people say. Marceau's a jerk. Marceau's a watered down version of me, and I'm a watered down version of my dad. And my grandfather's still alive too, and my grandmother. Our whole family is like this. So people, it's funny, and I'll show you what I mean. Auntie Ann did a little blog on my mom, and so my mom said, so people were like, oh yeah, Miss Scott needs to sue you, and Dr. Mommy needs to do this. And my mom said, I don't sue her. She's like, doctors don't talk to kindergartners. Doctors don't argue with kindergartners. So that's the kind of, my mom is in the top 4% of educated Black women. So when you want to go after her, you're talking about the top 4% of Black women. She got a dissertation. You don't think she could defend a Facebook group? So the thing is, growing up, we had that education, and we always had this tenacity to find the correct answer. It wasn't that you can't just give an answer. It has to be a correct answer, and it has to be, you can't just, if long division was a person, we would be it, because you got to do the long math. You can't just divide. You got to get all down to the umpteenth, like 9 decimals behind 9 decimals. If you don't get 9 decimals behind the point, then you don't have the correct answer.
So what were you like as a young boy? What would you describe yourself as a young boy?
Hell. I would describe
myself. You just been hell all your life.
No. Well, the thing is, I've always, my IQ. I was born, I don't have the best eyesight, and what happened was my brain could see out of both my eyes and look 2 different ways. So So I could literally see look at a room and see two sides of the room. Well, everybody else sees the room as one collective vision. Well, I get to see two different sides. And so eventually my brain shut down so I could function, but my mind still works that way. And so being ambidextrous and being, a non-traditional thinker, I just see the world. I see the world as is. I see the world as the way it is. I don't see a female and a male. I see people. And so that curiosity and my quest for understanding made me want to ask questions or do things that were probably not the most obedient child. So you tell your kid, you say, go in there and clean up your room. Well, your kid goes in there and he cleans up his room. Well, for me, I have 9 pairs of shoes. I have a closet that has 3 pairs of shoes in it. I can't put my shoes in the closet until I rearrange the closet so it could accept 9 pairs of shoes. So my mom wouldn't tell me to clean up. She would go tell me to redecorate or reorganize my room, because in order for me to clean, it has to first be organized. So that's the way my thoughts begin to build. And so you couldn't just tell me stuff to do and me do it. You had to explain it to me. And adults back in the 80s and 90s, they didn't want to do that. So I was considered a problem child. But at the same time, I was getting educated. I mean, yeah, I didn't want to just, I saw a lot of parents used to say, because I said so. Well, because I said so wasn't enough for me. And so I would see myself as difficult, but I also saw myself as a kid. I don't know, I'm not supposed to be this way. So, I mean, I think as my parents, I think they saw me as a handful, and my brothers saw me as a handful. And being the oldest, I think there was a demand on me that my brothers was like, nah, I don't act like Mark. He getting tore up out the frame. So, you know, so I think the distance of me and then me sticking up for them. My thought was, I'm your older brother. I don't want no harm coming to you. So I would often. That's one of the reasons why I don't like being lied on now, because I knew I stood in the gap for so long for things that I didn't do. I'm no longer doing that. No, I done played martyr way too many times, too many relationships. It's the girl doing something, and you're like, oh man, you be the bigger man, you walk away, and nah, to hell with that. I'm tired of walking away. I'm tired of bowing down. I'm tired of kowtowing. I'm tired of bowing to the man. I'm tired of marching. I'm tired of making cardboard signs and saying we shall overcome one day. I'm tired. And so this is what y'all see now. Y'all see the revolutionary person who says, pack a lunch. Respectfully, pack a lunch.
Back in lines. So you say you were in the military.
Yes.
What was military life like for you? What do
Oh,
you
it didn't change.
now that you learned or picked up in the military?
So the military, I went to the Marines because it was I just wanted to be more resilient and learn how to fight for myself. And that's what I got out of the military. My attitude didn't change. Like I mean, I had a racial issue where one sergeant told me, he said, "Nigga, I told you to go clean that."
Ah, N word.
It's legal on Twitter. I'm sorry. Elon Musk needs to buy YouTube. so, so he said that, and I whooped his ass, and got court-martialed for it. But that's me. I'm at a certain point. I'm not taking any more disrespect, especially if I respect you. And if we don't respect each other, oh, then it's a no holds bar. Once you show me you don't respect me, oh, I can show you. Oh man, oh boy.
So would you say you have respect for your brothers?
We have a understanding. I mean, I respect them as the men of their lanes. I mean, there's some thing. I mean, we believe different, so I can't say I disrespect them, but I don't challenge them to do things that I could do. Maurice is a lawyer, so he probably can't speak about um, anti-Semitics as freely as he might want to, because what he says comes out as an officer of the law. Marceau has a bar, and his patrons may not want to see him be as sympathetic to somebody like Kanye West or George Floyd or things like that. You may not want to see him send bottles to um, Donald Trump for making president, or you don't want to see him. You don't, as businesses, you try to stay as neutral as possible, and people
Yeah.
own business, and so me, they're the face of their businesses. I'm the face of me. And so I think there's a respect to, I respect them. I mean, I think they have their own opinions. I don't discuss them because publicly, because that opinion then translates into his business. So we have a respect to say that distance is not a um a unloving distance. It is a mutually respective and perspective of your space and what you got going for yourself.
Okay. So I asked if you have respect for your brothers to say this. Last night when we seen the conversation, it looked like they really wanted you to stop for not just, other people's sake, but theirs as well. And your response was respectfully, F you. So why is it that you just, for as much as you've done already, why is it that you continue to keep on?
Because the problem is this: two things. One, um, somebody fights me. If I've been avoiding this fight for decades and decades and decades, and then you finally corner me in the fight, I've been trying not to fight you because I don't fight fair, and I don't fight to the end. I play for keeps. And so, like Marshall said, it's one of those things. Is I'm gonna turn it off when I turn it off. Nobody gets to tell me to turn it off, because if you think somebody gets to tell me to turn it off, what you'll do is you'll go and talk to them and say, "Hey, can you make them turn it off?" So what I need you to know for certain is, if I pour this on you, then the only person who's gonna get it up off you is me.
Hmm.
The second thing is, if I'm right, if I was in the wrong, it's one thing. They might have been able, hey man, let me look at this angle. You're wrong from here, but I'm right. So the difference is now you're asking me to turn it off and I'm right. That's something like grace and mercy. And I don't extend grace or mercy.
That's fair.
God is a gracious and merciful God. I am for vengeance. He can take the day off. I'll handle my own vengeance. You handle my grace and mercy.
That is fair. So, for everyone that attacks you on social media, because you are very outspoken on your social media page, on IG, and your lives, your posts, and all of that, and you get a lot of backlash. I mean, you've been called so many things. You've been called a woman hater, thirsty. They've called you gay. They've called you a clout chaser. They called you broke, homeless, broken, just everything in the book. Why is it you feel they have this picture of you? Do
Because
you
they
think
hate
that
themselves.
this entire picture of you,
They
you
have because they
Mel Van painted that?
it's a definition. It is the definition of self-hate. Self-hate allows you to look at another person who I was reading a book and it says a lot of people don't want to see it different because they want a chance to crack the whip. These people don't want to look at it different because they want to be a chance to say, "You're a woman basher." They not that they believe it, heard the whole story, went back and listened to season 2, actually looked at the evidence like it. They want to crack the whip. I literally put up a post the other day about me barbecuing, and this lady comes on and, "We're not gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna make you block me." Who starts off a sentence with "I'm gonna make you block me," unless you're somebody who just wants to, you want to have your say. You want, the thing is, here's the thing. The other part is a lot of women don't know how to say they're attracted to you. They don't know how to say they're attracted. They
What do
don't
you
know.
mean by that, Mike?
I mean that the same thing that people used to do back in the day where boys picked on girls and girls picked on boys. These women want to say they want to have a problem with me because they like me.
That could be the case. I mean,
There's no, think about it. I don't go to nobody's page and call them out. I've never been on Van's page or Mel's page. I do what I do for me from my platform. That's what we don't recognize. I didn't go to the show. I'm not down there while they're taping. "Hey, Van, you need to." None of that. She works at this realty company right around the corner. I could literally go there. I don't go there. I don't do none of the stuff that people are doing to me. I don't go in her DMs. You gonna claim me? You gonna see? No, I talk from my platform, and that's got to let you know how much pressure I am. That's a lot. That's a. I didn't chase the clout. I ran it down. I hogtied it, and I earned it. I'm on from the day. You want to be on the show? I really don't want to. I don't want to have to go on the show because if I go on the show, you're going to get what you got. So let's keep them off the show. But the truth is, a lot of people believe in me and side with me because a lot of people are tired of taking people's BS. And so when you see somebody like Mark West, because I'm mixing my Kanye in this, but when you see somebody stand up to most of these women is like, "You don't treat a woman like that." But nobody says, "Hey, women, y'all don't need to treat men like that." This is what makes a Kevin Samuels so important. And it makes it's like, if women don't see the trauma they inflict on men, then if you never take any of the blame, does the cycle ever stop?
So, what would it take for the cycle to stop? What
Women are,
is it that you, first of all, before all of this madness start, when you seen what you seen in the first episode in season 2 or whatever it was, did you ever go to Van personally yourself, just one-on-one, and express
I
to
didn't
her
go to her. I sent
how
her a
you felt
message. I sent her a message.
and what the message said?
The message said basically like, "Hey, we had a deal. I wasn't prepared to hear my name on TV. I mean, and so my initial reaction was like, let me stump this." And everybody's like, "No, no, no." So this is still season 2. Everybody wants the season 3. It's still a good show. Mark, let it ride. Maybe it's a one-time thing, blah, blah, blah. And I did just that. I let it go. I tried to take the high road. And
So what was her response?
she didn't.
She never responded. And that is why you just started speaking out, period?
No, because then it was, so it kind of let go. It looked like it was gone. It looked like it was buried until December 2021. We got to go and dig Mark back up. Mark ain't said a mumbling word. Mark hasn't been in the groups, hasn't watched the show, nothing. Mark's a clout chaser. Look at the post, Empress Radio. Empress Radio, all up in my inbox. You're a liar. She took a post that had nothing to do with Van, put it there. It was like, see, Mark doesn't respect women. What? Mark hasn't even been a part of the show. And so that's the thing. If you're walking about your business and the next thing you know, you got people all up in your yard, you like, y'all look at him. He wants us out of his yard. He's mean. I want you off my property. What are you doing? And it wasn't Van. It was the people who wanted their property. So I rightfully went to their platforms and I went ham until they were like, you know what? Let's leave them alone. Let's not. Empress Radio took down all their stuff about me. Hey girl, hey, all of them just was like, you know what? Let's back off. Let's leave it alone. And then Van goes on tour and does an interview. Now I gotta get you.
What upset you most about that interview?
That for the irrelevance that I am, you sure have found a way to mention me and talk about me in everything you do. There's no other dude in your life? God dog.
So for everyone who loves to chase and go with this, he says that you are gay. Mark, are you gay?
I am happy. And that is the farthest gay I've been, is happy. I am not sexually attracted to men. I am not romantically attracted to men. I am not aroused by men. I do know what a good-looking man looks like. There's no way that Idris Elba could sit down next to me and the girl I'm dating and me be like, oh, I don't see none of that. No, I know what the fuck he looks like. And I'm going to be able to say, no, sir, you can't take off your shirt next to a woman. I know what Aquaman can't sit next to a woman. I mean, so, right. And so the problem is, I think most people think men should be uncomfortable, and I'm not uncomfortable. Marceau said it when he was with Funky Deneva. He was like, I'm gonna show you what it's like to be a toxic man, and that's not homophobic. I'm not a toxic man, and I'm not homophobic. So I don't.
Why did she say that? What do you think gave her the initiative to put that out there like that?
The problem, one of the toxic things, or one of the things women do, is one, when they are fighting back, they name call, they attack your sexuality, they attack your finances, they attack your parenting skills. They nothing that she said is literally like, let me say that he's not a good dude and I don't like him. Let me try to berate him, because that's how women fight. They fight by belittling and coming at you with things that should hurt. And that's the problem. If a woman says something to you, it's like, oh, that's why you had a miscarriage. Like, whoa, killer. So I took your parking spot because I had a miscarriage. Like, it's like, how can I sting you? And so when a man stings back, and that's the thing. Men don't normally sting back with words. Men normally sting back with physically. Excuse me. Women fight with their words. Men fight with their fists. And so the problem is, I learned how to fight with my words. And I'm a god doggone. The problem is when she left me, I was Daniel's son. Now I'm Mr. Miyagi. And so she can get some of this. Let me see what I can.
Hopefully, it won't have to come to that because at some point, this narrative has to end. Would you agree?
Oh, that you missed October 12th. We did a burial ceremony.
What's the burial ceremony?
I revealed the last receipt, and I haven't talked about her since October 12th.
So none of your posts you have made, though, in any shape, way, or form since then is directed toward her at all or anything in the situation?
There are a lot of toxic women who act like her. So it's the problem is it's like talking about a race. It's like having a fight with a racist, and then I'm talking about racist because of the fight I had. It to me, it's the exact same thing Wanda did when she mentioned the paternity. She's not talking about the kid, but if you're talking about parents, aren't you talking about a kid somewhere? It's an indirect thing, but I'm not addressing what happened with me and Van anymore. I've been okay for 7 years without it. The other part is the petty is in the patience. She could have stopped her demise, but for 3 years you've been lying. It's going to be really hard hopefully it's really hard for people to look at her and say, well, is she telling the truth? She can't lie.
Okay, so since you've had your moment on the show last night, it's going to be talked about, obviously, next episode. And it may trickle into Miss Van finding out and the whole thing. So if she brings you up again during the rest of the season, are you going to be responding?
Word on the curb is she's no longer coming around the show.
Right. That is the word on the curb. That is.
So
do you feel that is because of you?
I was kind of told by the curb it was because of me. I was told by some very different opposing people. And here's the thing. I didn't want it to come to that. I don't want the embarrassment of being a liar to stop your growth. I don't want it to stop your finances. What I wanted you to do is change your moral character. That's the aim. The aim is not to shame her, or make her feel bad about herself. It's to open up your eyes to say change. I remember when I was doing flooring, and I would do it for Maurice and Marcel. They'd be like, bro, they called my grout lines FLGs, fat grout lines, FGLs, fat grout line. Because my grout lines would be like, one would be perfect, then the next one, I didn't have the right tools. But I also wasn't listening. As I started listening, I went out and got the lasers, and I got the things, and I got the stuff that made my work better. In order to get better, you have to accept truth. It's like America saying, we as Americans believe that America took their first opportunity to the moon and got that shit right. Their very first time. Cell phone communication and everything working. But here it is. You done had Metro PCMS, US Cellular, and all the rest of these places, and still don't have good signal. But they got it right the first time. And so that's the problem I have is, in order to really truly be set free or to grow, you have to look in the mirror and say, yep, that's where you're fucking up. I have this mantra I say, and in it, one of the things it says, These are my habits, and I live them, and they contain all that I need. Therefore, my habits will provide everything I need. I will always look to my habits as a source of strength, happiness, and integrity. My habits become my character, and they lead me to where, if they lead me where I fail, then I will look at my habits and I will not blame others. I will adjust my habits and my plan. And that's our problem. When something fails, we run and go blame somebody else. We run and say, "Oh, this is my dad's fault." It's a song by Slid, and it's been a while. The song is "It's Been a While," and there's a part in the song. It says, "It's been a while. I cannot blame this on my father. He did the best that he could do." My father did the very best he could do to raise me. At what point do I take the burden and say, you know what, the rest of these ideas are mine. The rest of these fuck ups are mine. And that alone is the integrity that makes me stand 10 toes down on what I believe in. My dad didn't make me go after Van. My mom didn't make me go. Nobody made me go after. My integrity said, I'm Mark Scott. And what you're not gonna do, I fucked up my name. I got a felony. I got out the military. I got divorced. I got kids out of wedlock. I did all that shit. You don't get to. I can shit on my name. You don't get to shit on my name. That's not the way that goes. That's not the no. That's not the way that's gonna go at all. If you want to crap on something, you crap on your name, but you don't crap on my name and then tell me to be and let it sit well with me. No. Mm-mm.
Understood. So, is it safe to say that you will no longer be speaking on Melody either? You've left it all alone?
So
Was
here's
that
the problem.
burial just for Miss Van, or was
The problem is
part
I'm
of that?
still going to speak against hypocrisy. I'm still going to speak on moral injustice or immoral behavior. I'm still going to speak on you know, if I saw Martell being an abusive father, I would call him out on it. And we could sit and talk about it. And if I saw him do it again, I'd call him out on it again. It has nothing to do with who Martell is. It's the behavior. It's what you stand for. If there's to me, it's not. I think we make it personal, but it's Auntie Ann. At the end of all her speeches, she says, "God bless you." How you talking about somebody left side, right side, and up, and then say "God bless you" at the end? And your favorite line to her,
Really? I've never
and
watched.
it's God know my heart. God can't know your heart because He doesn't know ugliness. But see, when you call people out like that, oh, you the judge of Christians. It says you'll know they are Christians by their love. And if I don't see love, then I don't call you a Christian. There is plainness, and we got away from it. So there was a time in America where somebody was fat, you just called them fat. Now they're fluffy, they're challenged, they're this, they're that, they're anything but what it is. And the lack of accountability is what has us going through the cycles we're going through. And I am not afraid. I'm on my Dave Chappelle.
Okay, so you brung up Martell, and I did want to ask about him. What has Martell ever reached out to you about how you have talked about Miss Van and Melody, especially Melody, the mother of his children, his ex-wife?
Yes, he has. He has reached out to me.
And how does he feel about the things that you say?
Um, he says, "I applaud you for being able to tell your truth the way you tell it. Keep going."
Keep going. So he agrees with the things that you say about
He
Mel.
agrees with men not being bullied and lied on.
Mm.
People do not agree with my tactic. They do agree with my principle.
So is that what he does? Agrees with the principle, but not necessarily your tactic? Has he said that you could tone it down a notch or come from a different angle, if you will?
No.
No.
What I'm saying is factual. Here's the thing. If you say, Mark, I'm gonna talk about you wearing them shirts. If you don't, go put on a different shirt. If I don't go put on a different shirt, then whatever shirt I got on, you may be able to talk about, right? You've given me that. That's the thing. Same thing Mel and Van got. Melody took a little more heed to it quicker than Van did. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Perhaps. And right. So I feel like Kevin Hart's dad. Oh, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. Like, you gotta figure like this. I became a whole crackhead behind. Like, I'm a crack baby. I live in the woods. I mean, all the stuff that I've gone through because of this. Oh, you're gonna learn. Oh, give me the gun tray. Give me. You're my son. I'm a teacher. You ever listen to Jeezy?
To who?
Young Jeezy.
Yeah, I have.
He said, if you get jammed up, don't mention my name. I'm just saying. I don't care what happened. Listen, she could be falling off the cliff, off the highest rift in the highest place in the land. And I could be standing there and she may be like, hey, get him, tap him on the shoulder, but she won't call my name. This, if keep my name out your mouth was a person.
So Miss Van has left the show. Was it all because of this little moment?
Light of mine.
More moments? Is there another moment to come in the future, possibly? That
if she got something else to talk, if she got something else show worthy, like, I'm sure nobody wants to watch the show for a trip to grandma mother's house. I'm sure they got friends who do real estate deals. I'm sure, everybody has an evangelist, and they, other than me, I made her relevant.
Would you say she did the same for you as well, though?
No, I didn't want to be relevant.
But she did, in fact, make you relevant.
But I didn't want it. She wanted to be relevant. That's the difference. I got it as Maurice said it last night. And he said it best, and people didn't hear it. Wanda's on the show. She's always been a part of it. I was inserted into the show. There's a difference. If I wanted to be on the show, I wouldn't even mind when she said my name.
I mean, I just feel that it's unfortunate that it did have to come to this. That y'all could have just settled this behind closed doors as adults.
Well, sometimes I think the two things happen. One, in the road of me doing my podcast and getting to elevating, I've learned what the public is and what the public is not. I think I've learned that there's going to be a lot of things that I have to do. If I'm going to be for the people and in front of the people, based on this antic, there's a dude by the name of La Truth, who's going through some public scrutiny. You can't have a name La Truth and tell La Lie. So I'm saying what I'm learning from this is that I'm going to have to be, I'm going to have to speak on things. I'm going to have to practice some more lanes of integrity. I'm going to have to be more focused on stuff. So I don't think it's necessarily, while I helped her, I think she's been helping me train for a journey that is ultimately coming.
I mean, it seems like once upon a time, it was genuine to where y'all helped each other and had a really good, would you ever call it, would you only just say dating? Would you ever say that y'all had a relationship?
We did. That's what I'm saying.
But you also, so you were saying that you were seeing someone else. So you were.
It was an non-sexually exclusive open relationship.
Non-sexually exclusive open relationship.
Which is when you want to, when your head's over here, everything is great. Oh yeah, I'll do that. When you want to act like you got it together, oh no, I was never a part of that. There's another dude out there probably asking her to do it, and she's like, no. And then she's like, well, you did it with Mark. No, I didn't. I never did it with Mark. So I think in the spirit of change, you should say that's who I was. But, she didn't choose that route. She chose violence. And so I gave her what she was asking for. What do you tell a woman with 2 black eyes? Nothing.
What?
Nothing. You told her twice.
I don't want to be laughing at that.
Right. And so here's the thing. Here's the problem. And I'm saying that it was just to be funny. But here's the thing. I don't hit women. I hit them back. And so I never struck out at Van. I struck back at Van. And that's where we get it twisted at. We forget that energy, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
So if Miss Van was watching this, what would you say to her right now on a serious level?
The most serious level I can get, and I will say it to you. And as a matter of fact, let me get close. Respectfully, fuck you.
Okay, that's not what I was expecting. But okay, that's what it is. So there is no way Miss Van could come to you and apologize. If Miss Van came to you right now and said, okay, I messed up, I said everything I shouldn't have said, I'm sorry, would you accept my apology? Would you? If she ever, of course, that's a long shot in the dark, of course. But if she would you ever find yourself in a neutral stand with
I'm
Miss
neutral
Van?
now. I don't need to. She could save that breast in case she was dying. Don't waste an apology on me. You're already forgiven and all of that stuff. One of the biggest things to healing is you're gonna be okay with everything. You get your arm cut off, and the next thing you know, like, I don't want to do nothing. The next thing you know, you're living another day. You're living another day. And then the next thing you know, you find a way to live with it. You find a way to live with it. You find a way to say it didn't kill me. It didn't end with, it may have changed the way I wanted my plans to be, but it didn't stop me from dreaming. It didn't stop me from being lovable. It didn't stop me from growing. It didn't stop me from doing all these things. So the thing is, I don't need to hear it from her in order for me to have it. That's what real forgiveness is. I really forgive you, and you'll never have to say nothing to me. And I can respectfully, and that's why I said, like, I could be around you and I can, have a conversation. But the thing is this. A lot of times we do this in relationships. We think that forgiveness means we got to somehow, women do this better than men. Like, you said you forgive me. Why can't we work on a relationship? Because it's dead and gone. I do forgive you, but that is over. That's never coming back. And a lot of people, they need forgiveness to like mend the fence because you maybe want to go back in the fence. I don't never want to go back in that fence. And the fence is mended and I don't even have to see it. It's like, well, that means you're hurt. No, that means I've moved on. That's what growth is. That's me learning how to ride a bike again. I know how to ride a bike. I don't need that lesson. The other thing is, I think, is when you find out who somebody is, what does it take? How many lumps of somebody you keep getting up? Like, what do I got to do? There's no way. If I'd have been any one of these cast members, if I would have been Melody and Martell cheated on me the first time, no, bro, you out of here. There's no rekindle. There is no rekindle. That's Fool me once, it's your fault. Fool me twice, that's my fault. You're gonna fool me 3 times? 3? No. I tell this to my friends all the time. If they told you that there's a bear down at the end of the street, would you go down the end of the street?
No.
There's a van down at the end of the street. I'm not going down that street.
Well, I guess it's safe to say there is no hope for y'all to ever be in a good place again.
I'm in a good place with her. A far away is a good place.
Okay. So moving forward for the rest of the season, she brings you up. You won't be responding, right?
No, I won't be.
You're officially done with it all. You will never be mentioning Ms. Van or Mel again on your page. Because is that true forgiveness if you continue?
I have
kind of like still poking the bear because knowing what the situation
I
was
their
in, but
actions
you want to
against
come
me.
after them for something else.
I forgive their actions against me. I forgive their transgressions against me. Have they stopped transgressing?
Well, could they have now? But as the show goes on, when it was back then in time,
no,
of course not.
For example, Mel's little body picture that she took in the mirror, that wasn't on the show. I have a plight with who she's posting to be. I have a plight with who different people supposed to be when they stand against Kanye West. I have a problem with disingenuous people. It has nothing to do with Mel and Kiki are friends. Mel and Kiki are homegirls. How did you not know your homegirl was addicted to pills?
Yeah. Okay. That's a well good point. Yeah.
This is my homegirl. You were friends before me and Teacher, so I should have been able to say, hey, y'all, did y'all know your cousin out here on this stuff? We girls.
Could she have known and just not said nothing?
So then you don't care about your friends.
No, not as far as, not saying nothing to her about it. I'm just acting like she didn't know to everyone else.
Then are you really my friend?
I guess not. Right.
Friends let friends stay hooked on pills, right?
Say what?
Friends let friends stay hooked on pills?
No.
Friends let friends drink and drive. Friends don't let friends drink and drive. So friends intervene for friends. So for her to say that she was her friend and for them to downplay, like, all right, you just addicted to a couple pills. Girl, you know how you just take a pill here, no, it doesn't work like that. First you take a couple pills, then you need a little stronger pill, then you're taking everybody's pills, then you start doing something strange with some change. Let's wake it up. But that's not what this show is about.
Ooh. No, I guess it is not.
I'm just saying, because when you say you're friends, if I'm going to call out the behavior, if Kiki's my friend and I see her doing some crackish stuff, I'm gonna say something. And I don't have a problem with Kiki. I have a problem with the crackish stuff you did. You're not a crackhead. It's just
You're
crackish.
crackhead. Okay, well, that says a lot without saying a lot. Read between the lines a little bit. Okay, so I don't know if there's more of Kiki's story to come out in the depths of it, but I mean, what is your take on the whole Kiki and Letitia back and forth? Who's wrong? Who's right in your eyes?
I think Marcel and Tisha did something that you should do. If you know your cousin or your friend is coming to my house and they got a problem, you tell me. Now, maybe they laugh, maybe they're uncomfortable telling them like, hey, girl, you know, she just gotta watch yourself, gotta lock up your pit. You know, I don't know how they do it because it's a very sensitive subject to tell, but I don't know who's right. I don't know.
I guess I want to know is how did anyone find out? I'm like, did Mel tell Kiki what Letitia said? Like, how did Kiki find out that Tisha even said something in the first place?
Well, because that's why Kiki wasn't allowed to come on technically the first time. It's because something they said. Well, it's not something they said. They were trying to prevent something. They was trying to keep you from getting robbed or keep their cousin from relapsing. I mean, who knows what the best intentions are? But that's what you do it for. You don't do it to try to. I don't think they were trying to shame them. If you're my friend and you know somebody, hey man, I know you think she's cute, but she got a little package that's going to be living with her for the rest of her life. Thank you for the warning. She might feel outed because she ain't told me yet, but at the same time, she might have not, wanted to tell me until she gave it to me. So I'm grateful for you as a friend telling me to guard my grill.
So why did Marceau block you? He said he blocked you on episode 6. Why did he block you? Does he not want to deal with seeing what you put out there? Or what was it?
It's like I said, it's a part of his brand. And then people tag you in his stuff and tag me in his stuff. And it's one of those.
I mean, he simply doesn't have to just not pay attention to it. Why block your brother? When you just restricted you or anything, but
we're not. Again, a lot of people just are not as savvy. They don't go through it's simply easier to block. But people tag you in, even if you're not paying attention. People will go and say, "Look at what Mark. You see what Mark's saying?" It's easier to say, "No, he's blocked." I don't know.
So doesn't that say it? So what does that say to you? That your brother blocks you from this? You don't see that possibly he really would prefer for you to stop. And of course, it seems like, Kimmy definitely does. Tisha. So, and what is your relationship like with your sister-in-laws? Because Kimmy clearly brings it up that if they can do this, Miss Wine, they need to be doing this to you.
I think that was Kimmy producing.
What do you mean, Kimmy producing?
I think as a producer, you say, I kind of feel bad for Mark because he doesn't get to tell the story. How can I say something that might be able to get Mark up onto the story?
So she did that on your faith on your behalf, you feel?
I believe so.
Okay. That's nice then. And shout out to Kimmy and prayers for Kimmy. Absolutely. Okay. So what is your relationship like with them? Do y'all get along? Do they feel that you're out of pocket at all? Do they ever
everybody
come to you themselves and be like, Mark, calm down?
Nobody that's what you're not gonna do. But you're not gonna
that just excites you.
You're not gonna tell me to calm down. You probably get some understanding. You probably want to see where I'm coming from, and have a conversation, and let's see where our minds are. And that's what we do.
So will we see you on any more upcoming?
Not at all.
Do you know?
Not at all.
Not at all. That's it. So why was that even put out there? If you're not going to see you at all anymore, why was that scene made? What was the point? We don't get a storyline from it. So
Somebody
what was
else is not going to be there either.
Say what?
Somebody else is not going to use that storyline either. The idea is to not use that storyline anymore.
Okay. So that was the whole point. Got it. So, and that is why you finally did want to finally go on the show, because you talked about that you didn't want to do it for a long time.
Right. And so they was like, hey, you want your voice right next up to the big dogs? And I said, yes, Pilgrim. Get me right up there. And they called me up and I went on the show. And I said what I had to say, and the Ponderosa's still safe.
So why you and not Ariane?
Well, I'm cuter.
Is that the reason, Mark?
I think I look better on camera. I mean, I look better now that I've lost weight. I look like I had some biscuits. I looked at me last night. It was like, damn, dog, you let yourself go. So, I think
do you think Ariane will ever get her chance to tell her side of the story?
I think Ariane did something that I didn't do. Ariane started some drama. Ariane is a cause of. Okay, here's the difference. Ariane is, I don't want to say the root cause, but she's a co-contributor to the divorce. Okay.
Okay.
Wanda didn't have the babies, but she's a co-contributor to the theories about the babies.
Mm-hmm.
Mark is no co-contributor. He did not create his drama.
But people would say and love to say, oh, Carlos King loves drama, so why wouldn't he pick up on this?
He would pick up on it if you need to make him pick up on it. There's other things. Okay, the 18-year-old that Marceau has, or the Londa, none of that's made it to the show.
No.
Oh, so we don't have to do. What we have to do is there has to be some real drama where somebody really can end the drama. And Mark ended the drama.
Well, I guess that says what it is. So now, do you feel vindicated at all?
I never needed to feel vindicated.
But do you feel it? Because people have been still coming after you. People
they're going to keep coming after me.
A little bit in the chat, I feel. I don't know.
That's what I said about the success that she's taught me, is that people are going to do it. People are going to always be against you. People are going to be with you. People are going to, it's just a thing now. But the other thing is, when I first went into Facebook groups, I wanted women to see how women were treating other women, how women treat men. And so I didn't know I was going to be the example, but
well,
it's been proven.
It's been proven. Well, okay. I think you have you anything you want to say that you didn't mention that I didn't mention?
Oh, yes.
What needs to be said? Because I know there's a lot I don't know. But you want to fill in any gaps of anything, of any misunderstandings anyone's had or anything?
I am not traumatized. I don't have any mental illnesses. And I do a podcast. Brown Roots is the podcast to me that takes these experiences and experiences like these and discuss them so that you like for example, me being raped. I was raped in the military. I can use that story to help reach out a message of understanding, clarity, things like that.
Essay. Please say essay.
Essay. Sexually assaulted.
Yes.
Okay, well, that part. And so
I know it feel like it takes away from what it really is, actually, now that I say it, but
yeah, it takes it away from what it is because it's not just assault, it's a whole violation. But being able to speak out about that for men and to women, so that because you always ask your daughters, but you never ask your sons. And so I think that's why I think that it was inevitable. My message is inevitable. And I think she just catapulted my ability to stand in front of the public to see if I was ready to share and stand on those things. I think the other part that I do want to say is where she got the information for. I was going to counseling at the time at the VA to get counseling for the trauma that happened, and I was sharing with her. So the information that was happening was there, and throughout it all, I mean, I think it was the last time I tried to commit suicide, when I had gone to counseling. And so some of the stuff that she has said comes from the place. It's not just a friendship. It came from the depths of our relationship. And so it's when you take this stuff out of the context, like my mother told me about a lady named Vanessa in 1998. She making it seem like my mama told me when I met her. I wasn't even married. I didn't even have a kid.
mm-hmm.
So for the next person to be Vanessa is a little thirsty. It's a lot of, it's just, and that's why it was funny why I told her, because here it is 20 years later, I'm meeting a Vanessa. It's unique. It's like, why wouldn't I share this? You're the first person I've met named Vanessa. So to make it seem like my mom, I went home like, Mom, I met a Vanessa. It's like, your next person's gonna be a Vanessa. I mean, that's so it's the miss outs in the stories. But I was saying that to say that in Brown Roots, I discussed the different things like misinformation and how it leads to social attacks, or how to use social engineering to program us to get us to do the kind of stuff we're doing, like attack men, even if the men are honest. So, no, I think just keep, if you follow me on social media, follow me on my podcast. I think you'll learn a lot more about me, my brothers, my family, men, communication, religion, spirituality, sexuality, finances. I don't have a limit to which I'll cover, or to which I won't be pushed.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Okay. Well, Mark, I thank you for your time coming through and all of that good stuff. It's been a long time coming because we've been, chatting it up with each other for almost over a year, I think, by now. So we got a little history. We cool, and I appreciate coming on here professionally, telling your story, not with all the hoopla that people feel that you always bring. I wanted
Right.
them to see that you could come, tell your story, talk about yourself, and just see the Mark Scott and not Mark St. Patrick, because that's what we always get. And I appreciate you, Mark. And you're always welcome. You can always catch Mark sometimes coming to my lives every Saturday night after Love and Marriage Huntsville. Mark is a friend to the show, and he's very much liked over there too. Uh, no, because you had people missing you last night. You got called cute, fine. You had some, yeah, you had it going on.
Wait a second. You thought just my other two brothers. You're hoping I'm basement Billy. You're hoping that I don't look a whole meal. That's what they're hoping they are. And this is what probably makes it harder. It's hard to be mad at a cute guy for standing up. We use the ugly dudes like, oh, you ugly. Like, Van, I don't know. I don't know why you dissed him. I don't know. He kind of cute.
You got a picture of yourself at from Maurice Redding, suited and booted.
Do I have a picture when I'm suited and booted?
Yeah. Didn't you well, you did dress up for the wedding, right?
No.
Wait, what?
I mean, we were just wearing white, so I didn't have a.
You didn't have a suit? I want to see you in a full suit.
I'll show you a picture. The closest you'll get to me in a suit, but it's.
I want you to post it on IG so I can repost.
Okay, I'll post it.
Or your picture or something. I need to see, because you was fine, you was cute, you was all types of things. I'm like, where is all of this coming from? I'm
a whole corporate thug. You got to figure. I'm a Marine. I'm a carpenter. I've done some of the sexiest work ever in life, and I was a stripper. So you got to understand. I've been.
You were not.
Okay.
Were you a stripper?
Yes.
What? When? Was you a stripper?
I was in California. My name was Thundercat.
What year was this?
This is.
How old were you then?
I was 19.
What the heck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You were like that was your job?
No, I was in the military, so I was moonlighting. I was a whole mess. I was a mess.
Hell.
I was in California. It was part of my trauma recovery after I got out of after being assaulted. I cut loose. To hell with God, to hell with all of this. I told my girls you could get it, because we like to party. And, hey.
Oh my goodness. I would have never thought. So maybe that's what Miss Van liked so much. The moves that you had came into the bed, I guess, was very useful.
Ain't nobody driving 6 hours just to be my friend.
I know I'm not. I
don't listen. I live 3 hours away from Huntsville right now, and I don't have no friends that I'm driving 3 hours to go see just to kick it, because I feel mentally disturbed by what y'all saying to me on the internet. I know. And if I do drive 6 hours, I'm going to say this. It may not have been you, but somebody going to get that shucky ducky quack quack. You hear me?
Somebody getting it, huh?
Hey, listen. Coke is the real thing, but with Pepsi, you got the right one, baby. That's all I'm saying. You know. Oh, that's the other thing. Oh, I do need to say that I'm finna drop some T-shirts. I'm finna drop some Mark merch. There's gonna be some Mark merch. You might want that Mark merch. That Mark merch might be killer. It tells a story. So here's the thing. This is one of my favorite things is T-shirts that say shit. So when you see that Mark merch, you might want to rock one of them respectfully FU shirts. That Mark merch finna drop. Matter of fact,
When
it's going
can
up.
we expect the Mark merch?
Oh, it's going up on IG today.
Well, that was quick. Okay.
Oh, y'all thought Basement Billy didn't have. Oh, that's right. I ain't got no money.
Okay, this is what I wanted to also ask. Miss Van just got some shirts out. Something about ignorance. Is that towards you or not?
She's had. So she had a saying that she don't do stupidity. Now
I
she
don't
got
do
one.
ignorance, I think.
Now
Yeah.
she don't do ignorance. So I'm about to drop some shirts. Respectfully, fuck you. Fuck around and find out. Fuck your feelings. I got shirts. Some of the things that you see me say on my lives or on TV, I'm finna put them out there. It's like it's my lines is finna be, you know, if fucking and find out was a person, and it's gonna be you as you know, and it's gonna be signed by Mark Scott. So you know, it's that's the Mark merch. It's finna drop. We dropped the
You
Mark
actually
merch.
finna sign your shirts too?
Well, it's gonna say 3. So when you see
So
3,
say what?
3. Mark James got the third. 3.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So
That makes sense.
you know,
Y'all watch out for that Mark merch.
Mark.
He'll have a link in his bio soon enough.
Right, it's going up today on IG. You gotta see me on IG. They going up. They going hot today.
People are saying, "Don't tell your vision; people will steal it."
I don't care. You
don't care, y'all.
It's enough visions out here, and that's why when people say what they say, it's enough visions. I'm sitting on 101 acres of land right now. It's enough land out here that you can't buy all the land, and then I have no land. So people got to know they got to know who they're up against. You're up against Mark Scott, the guy who can take his social media little bitty platform and get to national TV. I'm pressure, baby. Pressure. I don't even know how the song goes, but I know I'm pressure.
It's all good. Well, y'all make sure y'all get that Mark merch. Make sure y'all check out Brown Roots because it is good. And make sure y'all check me out Saturday nights where Mark may show up and grace us with his presence and all that he does best. And make sure y'all check me out, period, because this interview was the bomb. Mark, once again, thank you for your time, darling. You are one of a kind. You definitely did not disappoint.
I'd never try to. That's why you drive 6 hours.
And on that note, everybody have a fabulous, fabulous Sunday. Mark, I will holler at you later, darling.
I'll see y'all. Hey, y'all be easy and be safe.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. There is a Mark Scott, y'all. All in his glory. I thank everybody for coming to tune in today. My bad. We had a good time. Mark said what he wanted to say. I asked him all of the questions. He gave us a little bit more. So going forward, this is Mark Scott III, Mark St. Patrick. Make sure y'all get y'all merch. Make sure y'all check out Brown Roots. And y'all be great. Checking your booth. Thank you, darling. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Yes. But that is going to do it, y'all. Until next time, I'll holler at y'all. And y'all be great.